If you know me personally, then you know I'm a huge advocate of something called the FIRE method. FIRE stands for Financially Independent Retire Early, which has been a goal of mine since I was like 20 years old. The basic concept of this method is to save as much money as you can and to put that into investments such as index funds, real estate, or into your own business. In my case, I'm going to be doing all three in the near future. However, in order to buy those investments, you need to be able to save your money, and this is where meal prepping comes in. Meal prepping doesn't allow us to just eat healthy and to control our portions, but it allows us to also control our expenses, which in California is huge when it comes to food. Food is one of the highest expenses that we can cut down on, and this is where this series comes into play. Our kimchi fried rice recipe today is going to be $2.68 per meal. There's only going to be 6 ingredients for each meal, and it's going to be super delicious while saving you on so many costs. So let's cut down on those expenses, eat really healthy, and save up so that we can reach financial freedom. Let's get into this, guys. Let's start it off with some white rice. It's only 72 cents for this whole bag. Up next is sesame oil. There's a ton of flavor in this for only $2.69. Up next we got 3 cans of tuna. Great way to get your protein in for a really low cost. 3 of these come out to 75 grams of protein. Freaking lens wouldn't focus on the green onions, but yeah, only 87 cents for all this. A dozen eggs for $1.89. Great way to get protein in for cheap. Last but not least, we got the star ingredient for only $2.50. Kimchi is amazing stuff, guys. So a good fried rice always consists of actually having dry, stale rice, as there'll be so much liquid in the pan to rehydrate the rice. Fresh rice is already wet, so if possible, make sure to use some day-old rice. If you want a video on how to cook some perfect rice and our method of emulating day-old rice, we'll put it on the top right-hand corner so you can always make sure your rice is on point. So this is a super simple recipe that packs a ton of flavor. Let's start it off by adding in a tablespoon of that sesame oil from earlier. Sesame oil is fine to cook with as long as we are on medium heat here. High heat will most likely cause it to burn, so be conservative with your heat. Up next, let's fry up the green onions to get rid of some of that harsh raw onion flavor. Frying it up really mellows it out and adds a ton of flavor to our fried rice. We're on medium heat here, so just go around 2 to 3 minutes. After the green onions, let's add in the kimchi. If you've ever had fried kimchi before, then you know how delicious this stuff is. Let's fry it up for around 2 more minutes and really let that kimchi caramelize. I eat this stuff probably every day. It's good for you and it just elevates everything. Now let's add in the 3 cans of tuna. There's actually a lot of salt in here, so it'll season the fried rice pretty well. You will need to add in some more salt later to taste, but this stuff almost gets you to where you need to be. Fun fact, I used to sell this when I owned a meal prep company back when I was 20 years old. People absolutely loved it, so here I am 5 years later making it for YouTube. Up next, we got that day-old rice. You're gonna really need some stale rice, especially for this recipe. There's so much liquid in the kimchi and in the tuna, so adding in freshly cooked white rice would make this dish way too soggy. If you only have fresh rice, what you can do is take the rice and lay it flat onto a pan or casserole dish and put it into the freezer for around 45 minutes. This takes out the water and gives you that almost pebbly feel to the rice, which is actually a good thing. This recipe is supposed to be easy though, so just try to use leftover rice if possible. Last but not least, let's add in some more sesame oil to top it off. We also added a little bit of salt here, but we did it off camera. Just a pinch or 2 is fine. There you go, you get this super flavorful dish with only 5 freaking ingredients. You can add a 6th by placing some soft boiled eggs on top of the rice when eating. It adds an extra layer of richness and, as Adam Ragusea would say, some heterogeneity within each bite. Now let's get into plating the food, which is my favorite part of meal prepping. Each of these meals come out to 352 calories with 25 grams of protein, 27 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat. Perfect meal if you're looking to shred down or build some muscle. I just want to say thank you so much for anyone who has been watching these videos. We really appreciate it and are so excited to make some informative content for you guys. If you guys want to check out some other recipes that we haven't featured on the channel, or just want to support, then make sure to check out our cookbook, which is on sale for $14.99. It teaches you how to become your own personal trainer, and you get 15 awesome Asian-inspired recipes. Making this dish really took me back to the good old days. I probably made this dish thousands of times when I sold them to my clients back in the day, and I'm so glad I get to share it with you guys too. Try it out and leave us a comment on how it turned out. For $2.68, this is a meal worth making, literally.